In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how we're able to guarantee contractually 8 to 15 qualified appointments every month for M&A firms, private lenders, and B2B service firms that fit our demographics. I'm going to share our live client campaigns. I'm going to walk you through the entire system, how we qualify, how we get the leads, the entire process. I'll share the pricing up front so there are no games later on. And yeah, no fluff, no BS. Let's dive in. So first, where you're at right now, it might be that you have inconsistent referrals that you can't really forecast. You've probably tried cold outbound from some overseas agency. You've probably tried ads and you haven't seen the greatest results. Or you have had some inbound traffic from the past, but the market's been shifting lately in the M&A space and in the lending space. And that may have dried up. Or you may just have nothing. You're just waiting for the phone to ring and just hoping and waiting. Oh, someone please help me. So the first question is, does cold outbound work? And the answer is, it's pretty simple. First of all, it is not magic, but cold outbound is the most efficient way to do the math that's required to get results at scale. What do I mean by that? Well, growth at the first principles level, it's a very simple equation. Eyeballs times pain times trust at scale equals growth. And so the fact of the matter is that businesses, they need capital. And business owners want to sell their businesses. And so whether you're in the M&A space or the private lending space or in another similar B2B service space, the fact of the matter is that the audiences certainly exist. And there are tens of thousands of decision makers that you could serve. And the fact here is that the channel isn't what matters. It doesn't matter if it's cold email or ads or cold calling. The math is what matters. If they have a real pain and you can solve that pain and you present it in the right format, then you get results. So our job is simply a matter of presenting you to them at scale and letting your message do the rest, letting your process, your system do the rest. So quick context on us. Woods Ascension is our company. We've been in the space for 8 years, since December of 2018. We've generated over 17,000 qualified conversations for our clients, which I'll share in a second. Our longest term client has driven over $26 million in proven results. This says tracked client revenue. That's just for one specific client. And we focus on M&A, lending, and B2B service firms. So how the system works end to end it's pretty simple. So first, we build a very hyper-specific list based precisely around who you want to target. Okay, so if you're in the M&A space, okay, what EBITDA ranges? What specific industries? Maybe you're in the healthcare space. Maybe you're doing you can only do mandates for professional services or for lawyers. We get very specific on that first and foremost. If you're in the lending space, well, perhaps you have a minimum revenue for your clients, for your borrowers of $1 million plus per year. Or maybe they have to be within a specific geography. Whatever your specific targets are, we dial those in first and foremost. Secondly, once we have that in place, then we begin reaching out via cold outbound. So this is a mix of cold email and cold calling. We do all of this in parallel, and my team, we handle all of the tech, all the infrastructure, all the warm-up, everything. Third, once they receive a message from our team and they respond and say, hey, we're interested, at that point, we respond within 3 minutes via email. We text them as well, and we call them within 5 minutes. Now, the call here is one of the key differentiators between us and other agencies, because most agencies, they just blast out email and hope for the best. And the fact of the matter is that for so many SMBs, they're not going to respond to emails oftentimes. They are out on the job. They're busy. And so calling them and getting them directly in that moment, right after they respond to us, is the highest leverage way of capturing their attention and transferring them into an appointment. Okay? So we call them, we qualify them within 5 minutes. And once we have properly qualified them, only at that point do they book onto your calendar. So you don't have to deal with these endless email conversation chains. You don't have to chase down leads. They book directly onto your calendar. And lastly, you pay only for the qualified shows, okay? So let me go ahead and show you one of our dashboards. This is one of our clients who's in the financial, they're a commercial lender, specifically for vehicles. And in the past, today is April 21st. This is from April 13th until April 17th, so the past week. For this client, we sent 12,000 emails. We had 90 responses. We had 19 positive responses, a 1% bounce rate. And more importantly, what did that actually result in terms of calls? Because that's what matters here. What do you guys produce? Okay, so let me show you. So again, last week, so that was April 13th through April 17th, and I'll block out the names here for the purposes of the prospects' privacy here. But April 13th, that was last Monday. First call, Wednesday, April 15th, 2 calls. Thursday, April 16th, 1, 2, 3. So 3 calls on Thursday. April 17th, 2 calls. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 calls last week in the span of 5 days. And if we look at these calls, well, they're actually qualified. What type of vehicle are you looking to finance? Delivery van. How many vehicles does your company currently operate? 2. How soon do you want to move? Next month. So hot leads that are ready to go. And the same thing applies for all of these people. Wheelchair van, 2 vehicles. They want to move in April or May. Okay, so very qualified leads. 8 in 1 week. And a longer term client of ours, this is their dashboard of their calls. It's a different industry, but same exact system. And you can see yesterday, April 21st. No, this is today, April 21st. Different time zone, but because I'm over in Europe right now, so it looks like it's AM for me, but it's actually the daytime for them. So 9,000 total calls for this one client, tracking back since 2020, okay? So this is a long-term system, and this is just for one single client. Okay, enough of that. So let's dive on in. What does the first 90 days look like? So month 1, it's quiet, it's set up. That's days 1 to 21 is us getting everything set up, the inboxes, the email accounts, the lead lists, getting your messaging dialed in. Day 22, we launched the emails. So that's when we start sending between 15,000 to 60,000 emails per month based on your specifications. Days 25 to 30 are when the first calls start coming in. Days 30 to 75, those are when we're heavily iterating and just making A/B tests and improving and seeing what audiences work best, what messaging works best, and getting everything dialed in. And by day 75 onwards, we're at full volume. We oftentimes scale to higher volume at this point. And by this point, 90% of our clients are seeing some real ROI, between 6 to 12x ROI on their investments typically. So that's how it typically goes. In terms of what it looks like in terms of pricing, the setup is between $2,000 to $4,500 one time, and that's refundable based on if we actually deliver the results for you or not. Per qualified call that actually shows and meets your criteria, it ranges between $200 to $500. Refund policy, we have it in place. Long story short, we carry the risk, you don't. And yeah, it's for any B2B service firm that has a lifetime value of 10,000 plus on their offer. It's a no-brainer. Common questions: how long until you see calls? 25 to 30 days. What if calls isn't qualified? You're not charged. What do I need to do? Take the calls, close the calls, give feedback on the prospects that you're receiving. What if it doesn't work? Refund policy covers everything. That's all of that. So this works if you are an M&A advisor, a lender, or a B2B service firm. If you're doing 1 million plus in annual revenue, 500,000 plus is ideal, really. 1 million plus is a sure bet, but even 500,000 and above, it's typically a safe bet. You need a sales process that actually closes. If you cannot close leads, then this is worthless. Okay? So we can get you qualified appointments who are ready to go. But if you cannot close at a decent rate for your industry, then it's worthless. And lastly, you need to be ready to take 8+ qualified calls per month. In the M&A space, we sometimes go a little bit below that because each mandate is much higher value. So oftentimes in the M&A space, we oftentimes target between 3 to 7 calls. But generally, we aim for 8+ calls in most of our service spaces. And if these don't fit you, that's completely fine. We are selective about who we want to work with, and we want win-win partnerships. Okay? So if this all sounds appealing to you and you're at all curious, I can walk you through the entire process on a quick call. No pitch on that call. I only want to understand what you guys do, who you serve, and how you're currently scaling your offer. And if we can help, then I'll tell you that. If we can't help, then I will tell you that. But either way, I will share some strategies on that call that you can take away regardless. So book a call down below at the link provided, and I'll see you there. Cheers.